Okay, we're going to try something new here on Chatter Plus, the SeforimChatter YouTube channel, which is a book review or a Sefer review via video. This is an interesting book called a Sefer, Siddur Mimikairesav. So this is something that it's a self-published work, and it's actually a print-on-demand option. You can kind of see via the binding here, and I'll talk more about that. So this is a Siddur. It was published and edited, but it's for a weekday. It's published and edited by someone, Moshe Tzvi Weider, and hope to do a podcast episode with him on this, an interview, but this is just for YouTube. So the Siddur, as many know, and this is not a full discussion of the Siddur, our Siddur as we have it now with the different nuschais came about over centuries, Ashkenaz and Edut Mizrach, and you have Italian and all the different things. So with this Siddur, the editor tried to go back. He tried to do a number of things. He tried to go back and tell you when each tefillah came from, what time period we see it originally, when we see it brought down in a Siddur, and the makar, the source of the text, as well as to bring you the earliest known manuscript of each tefillah. Why he brings you each earliest manuscript, I'm not sure. It's cool. I don't know why. And then there's also textual variants on the side, as well as notes. And I'll show you a little bit of that. It's a pretty interesting Siddur. There's a small introduction in Hebrew, as well as an introduction in English. So the Siddur, taking right in the beginning, you'll have here Alikai Neshama, and so you'll have on the top, it'll tell you when it is, and you see it says Rabbanan right there in the timeline. Then it says Haifiya b'Siddur, it was brought in the Siddur, Rav Natroni Gain, V'Kitoya Gniza, so it comes from the Siddur Rav Natroni Gain, and you also see it in the Ikar Gniza. Makara text, where's the source of this text? Gemara. And now if we'll drop down, and we'll see Rav Natroni Gain, so we'll go to footnote 16, and you can see Chuvas Rav Natroni, and he brings you the source. Same if you see Makara text, the source, Gemara 18, it says Bavli Brachas Samach, Daf Samach, and he brings you the source there. There, once you start reading Alakai Neshama, footnote 1, and he tells you various manuscripts have different words, textual variants. He brings you right here on the side. Over here, then, he brings you a manuscript, the earliest manuscript of this, that you can see the picture of the manuscript. So it does this throughout Limay Sachel. An interesting one of the really late editions is Brich Shmei. Many people know this is, so he discusses here how it's attributed to the Zohar, but it's not really. It's from the Ramban. And as he says here, Haifiya b'Siddur, Siddurim be'Italia b'Meah 15. In the 15th century, and he says here, that's what you see in the timeline, it says Rishonim. And he has the Makara text, the Ramban. He brings you here on the bottom the notes, and here you have the textual variants, and here you have a picture of that to show you some other things that are interesting. There are various manuscripts. Some are with Mekudas, some are different, some you have really clean, full manuscript with really clean picture. Some you have otherwise. Now, again, here you have a lot of sources. It's an interesting kind of Siddur. He says how he wants to make it usable, putting the text like this, graying out the comments and the footnotes. Again, it's interesting because you're getting Siddur with notes and with manuscript. I think he does say it's not intended to be used as a daily Siddur. I can't imagine using this as a daily Siddur. I think it would be a usable tool. It's quite unique and interesting, though, to own such a Siddur. So that is mostly what this Siddur is about. He does end, really, I said it's really a weekday Siddur. He does have in the back Adon Olam. He has some other things all the way in the back, various parts of Tehillim. Now, he does include Halal as well. I should show you Halal. And everything's really the same. Again, he's going to tell you where it's from, the time period, tell you the sources, tell you the textual variants, give you a manuscript, and show you the pictures. You can kind of get the feel of the Siddur. In the back, he does have something interesting where he brings down, first of all, he brings you down the regular Kriyas HaTorah. So I guess he does intend it to be used as regular Siddur, because this is just the regular Kriyas HaTorah you'll see in any art scroll Siddur. It's not anything interesting about this Siddur. But what he does bring also is he tries to bring you, I guess, a timeline to help you out with his timeline. First, he brings you some various, he says, Shinuyim, differences, Shalem Nimtzoim Be'edin Nusach. He brings you an early version of Tachnun. He says this kind of predates our Tachnun. So we'll bring this for you over here. So you can kind of see the early text and the manuscript. And then there's actually a QR code here. You can scan the QR code in the back of the Siddur. And then he brings you the time. So you can see Zmanei HaMadrashim, different Madrashim when they were. He's going to bring you Ga'ainim, when each Ga'ain lived. And then the Rishonim, to run down the time of the Rishonim. Because I guess if he's having chronological listings in here, you'd have to know when each thing was to really understand what's going on. And then he brings you Balei Taisus, Hamad Fasin, the printed Balei Taisus, and then here is his English introduction. So it's an interesting siddur. Like I said, the binding is kind of it is a print on demand, so you get that kind of, I don't know if you can see, it's almost like they slap on a cover in between paper. It's not exactly, the bindings, whatever. It's also expensive. You use something called the Great British Bookshop, so it's around $50, I think, and it's like $10 shipping at least. So it's expensive. It's not a cheap item. Put a link in the show's notes below if you're interested in ordering it. But it is unique. It's quite interesting, unique, and different. And you can definitely, I would, if you're interested in Siddur and Nuschayos and manuscript, you want to see things like that, I think it's interesting. It would be an interesting addition to one's library. But I'm not sure otherwise. Like, you can't daven for a mid or anything like that, and it's only weekdays. So it is interesting, and I wanted to highlight it here on the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching another episode of Chatter Plus. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It does help the channel. Additionally, if you would like to sponsor an episode of the YouTube channel, please email me, SeforimChatter@gmail.com, as well as with any comment or feedback. Please listen to the SeforimChatter podcast wherever you get your podcast, SeforimChatter.com, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Spotify, or 24/6. If you would like to sponsor an episode of the SeforimChatter podcast, please email me, SeforimChatter@gmail.com.